Hey guys, Aaron Zang here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Ranked, where I climb the online regulation VGC ladder in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and provide live commentary as I go. In this video, I'll be featuring the team that finished rank number 1 at the end of the September ranked season, which is one of the most difficult accomplishments you can have on the ranked ladder. The team features a lot of fun tricks like Aqua Paldean Tauros with Mirror Herb, Skill Shot Loaded Dice Dragonite, Focus Sash Kingambit, Sturdy Archaludon with Aura Sphere, as well as Covert Cloak Pelipper. As always, I'll do a quick breakdown of the team, but if you want to just skip to the battles, check out the timestamps down below, and thanks so much as always for joining me. If you enjoy, I'd really appreciate if you consider leaving a like in the video or subscribing to the channel. It really helps out a ton. If you're interested in trying out the team, the rental code is on the screen, and there's also an accompanying PokePaste down in the description below. Like I mentioned, this team finished ranked number 1 at the end of the September ranked season, and I think it's really fun because even though it has a lot of standard Pokemon, there are a couple of things that I think really make it unique for best of 1 play. Specifically, you've got things like the Covert Cloak on Pelipper, which is really nice in getting around Fake Out. You have the Focus Sash on Kingambit, which is a very rare item on this Pokemon. Normally, people expect things like Assault Vest or Black Glasses or Safety Goggles, for example. You've got Aura Sphere on Archaludon, which gives you some unique coverage through fighting. Normally, people expect Body Press, but a +1 Aura Sphere does a ton of damage and has a lot of good coverage in this format. And you've also got Mirror Herb Tauros, which you can use to take advantage of opposing Defiant users like Annihilate as well as Kingambit. Loaded Dice Dragonite is also a really strong set in the format right now because you're able to do so much damage with Scale Shot and then finish things off with Extreme Speed while also being able to get rid of boosts with Haze. So yeah, really strong team, and there's a reason why this team finished ranked number 1. To give some quick context, this team was created by a Japanese player who, as I've mentioned, finished in first place in the end of the ranked season of September and also actually finished in 8th place. They actually wrote a team report for this in Japanese, so I highly recommend you check it out. I'll link it down in the description below, and it just contains details about how the team came together and as well as how you can play with the team as well. So huge thank you to them for building and sharing this team, and congratulations to them for finishing in first place. Breaking down each individual Pokemon, the first one to highlight is Aqua Paldean Tauros. I honestly think this Pokemon is pretty underplayed right now, and I really enjoy using it. It's really valuable for a couple of reasons. First of all, great type coverage between water and fighting, allowing you to threaten a lot of Pokemon for super effective damage. Intimidate's obviously an incredible ability, and you are base 100 speed, which allows you to outspeed so many common Pokemon in the format, especially in the 80 to 95 speed tier range. So for example, you can outspeed opposing Archaludons, Golden Goes, Annihilates, Dragonites, and having that speed advantage I think can go a really long way. Mirror Herb is also a really fun item where you can take advantage of your opposing boosts. This is particularly valuable to bring against Annihilate as well as Kingambit, where you'll activate their Defiant and of course then get free +2 attack, making Tauros just so much scarier. Tauros also just does a lot of damage, and when you have Pelipper to support it as well, it can do even more damage with its water type attacks in Raging Bull, which turns into a water type attack based on its form, and Aqua Jet here. So overall, I think Tauros is a Pokemon I often like leading because it just intimidates my opponent immediately and puts on offensive pressure right from the beginning of the game. Pelipper is a nice partner for it. This Pelipper has enough HP investment to survive Loaded Dice Dragonite, getting 5 hits with the Scale Shot, which is something we actually have on this team. And so otherwise you just want to invest heavily in special attack and speed and make sure that when Tailwind is up, you can outspeed Backspeed Dragapult, for example. Pelipper here also has Covert Cloak, which is the biggest tech on this. Covert Cloak is not that frequently seen on Pelipper. Normally you'll see, for example, Focus Sash, and often it'll carry Hurricane, Weather Ball, and one of Tailwind or Wide Guard, but this team has both. Covert Cloak, I find, is just an item that can single-handedly win you a game because a lot of times you'll lead Pelipper into something like Incineroar or Rillaboom, and your opponents will feel safe clicking Fake Out into it. But with Covert Cloak, you'll just be able to get a free attack off, and often that can carry the momentum really far and just enable a victory. And you can do, obviously, a lot of damage with your attacks. If, for example, a Rillaboom is hitting you with Fake Out, you can just Hurricane them. If an Incin is clicking Fake Out, you can just Weather Ball them. And so Covert Cloak, I find, is an item that I've lost to against a lot on the ladder, and on Pelipper, it can just be really deadly. Archaludon's also a Pokemon that can capitalize off the rain. This Archaludon's a little bit special because you've got Ghost Terra as well as Aura Sphere. Power Herb plus 30 is definitely picking up in usage. I think one of the fun things is when your opponents see this team in team preview, they don't know what kind of Archaludon you'll be running, right? This totally could be an Assault Vest set, for example, with the stamina. But with Power Herb and Sturdy, you are able to go for Electro Shots both inside of rain and outside of rain, which is really nice. Ghost Terra is particularly valuable to get around Fake Out on turn 1, and of course give you immunity to close combat from Sneasler, which is one of the most common attacks in the format. A +1 Aura Sphere does a lot of damage to things that are weak to it, like opposing Archaludons as well as Incineroar, Kingambit, for example. And so it is just a really solid attack, and I think very few people know how much a +1 Aura Sphere from Archaludon can do. So you obviously have the classic Pelipper Archaludon core here, but there are some unique differences to make these stand out. And every single one of these small things can go such a long way in the ladder, because a single surprise can often win you a game, and there's still so much just natural strength from all of these sets as well. So you basically have a rain core on this team. To round things out, you have Loaded Dice Dragonite. This is a set that's really picked up in usage. I've seen a lot of high-level Japanese players using it, and it is now succeeding in Open Team Sheet Best of 3 tournaments as well. We've seen multiple Loaded Dice Dragonite sets get top 8 at the most recent regional championships. Loaded Dice plus Scale Shot is just a really nasty combination, because with this, you can, for example, attack opposing Dragonites with multi-scale and then break through their multi-scale. It's valuable into Focus Sash users as well, and Extreme Speed can often finish those Pokemon off as well, right? So you can Scale Shot into a Sneasler, for example, then Extreme Speed before they can get another move off. Haze is used to mainly help out into the Dondozo matchup, but of course it can be used in random scenarios where your opponent has boosted their stats, and this is just very classic Adamant, max speed, max attack. Fairy Terra is important to go up against opposing Dragonites in the mirror match. Like, you want to really go for Fairy Terra so that their skill shots are just useless, and you know, Fairy Terra is also just nice defensively, helps out against all the other dragon types that exist, like Dragonite as well as Dragapult and Archaludon, and you also can take relatively good damage with this, right? Like, obviously you're going to be threatened by Steel and Poison, but the rest of the team, I think, has decent coverage into a lot of those common Steel and Poison type attackers. Kingambit is the next Pokemon to talk about, and this Kingambit is really interesting because it's max speed, max attack. This speed investment is something that will definitely catch your opponents off guard, because obviously most people aren't going to be running speed on Kingambit most of the time, and with Focus Sash you can get away with this, right? Normally, if you're running max speed, max attack and you have no bulk on Kingambit, it's really vulnerable, but with Sash, you can basically get 2 really powerful hits off with this Pokemon, which I think is really, really fun and very unexpected as well. I have a lot of opponents that don't expect Kingambit to survive with Focus Sash, and so I've won a lot of games just off Focus Sash alone, taking an attack and then being able to get a huge attack off in return. Defiance obviously valuable as well to get around Intimidate and take advantage of, you know, other ways that your opponent can drop your stats. Finally, you've got an Assault Vest Rillaboom. This is fairly standard, nothing too crazy about this to know. This is just your kind of standard AV Rillaboom set. The main thing to note is instead of high horsepower, you've got your classic Fake Out, U-Turn, Grassy Glide, and Wood Hammer set. So yeah, I think the main surprises to call out here are the Covert Cloak, as well as the Tailwind plus Wide Guard here, the Ghost Terra plus the Aura Sphere here, as well as the Max Speed Kingambit. So I think the team already just has a lot of natural strength, where it's not like it relies on these surprises, but having them, every single one of them I found have won me games at certain points, which I think is really nice. In terms of ways of playing with the team, I think it's like Archaludon, Dragonite, Kingambit are all fun Pokemon to lead, often with each other, because they can survive multiple hits thanks to multi-scale as well as Focus Sash and the Sturdy here. You can obviously just lead Pelipper, Archaludon, Pelipper, Tauros if you want to like set up the rain immediately and then enable these attackers right from turn 1. I think like thinking about having Tauros in the back to switch it in for Intimidate, but honestly with this team you can flex so many different leads, so it's very much about trying to take advantage of, okay, how can I get one-hit KOs onto my opponent's end, or like double up a slot for a KO while also surviving their attacks, right? So yeah, I often like leading Archaludon, Gambit, and Dragonite since there's so much durability for it, but I think this is one of those teams that's so flexible you can really have any lead combination and it'll work out decently well, so it's very much about finding the best possible one against your opponents. In terms of weaknesses, the original team creator mentioned that Alolan Ninetales plus Garchomp can be a really scary combination for this team. Ninetales in general outpaces the entire team, can change the weather, which is obviously scary, Blizzard does a lot of damage, and Freeze-Dry hits Dragonite, Tauros, Pelipper, and Rillaboom for super effective damage. Garchomp is also naturally faster than the entire team, and Garchomp these days will often carry a defensive Terra, like Steel for example, allowing you to resist a Scale Shot. This Dragonite can feel absolutely broken when you're going up against Pokemon that take neutral damage from Scale Shot or take super effective damage from it, but things that resist it, things that are immune to it, can really make this Dragonite miserable. So there are a lot of things that can actually counter this, whether it just be Steel and Fairy type Pokemon or Terras. And that's a really, really big deal because you don't want to let this Dragonite basically just go unchecked. It speaks to a bigger trend as well, which is just Fairy type damage across the board. There isn't a single Pokemon on this team that actually resists Fairy, and you do have defensive Terra and Fire Terra Rillaboom, but outside of that, for example, a well-positioned Fairy-type Pokemon can be really, really scary, and that's why Alolan Ninetales is a pretty big threat to this team. Some other things to call out include if your opponent knows about the Focus Sash and the Paldean Archaludon, that allowed them to double up onto these slots with a little bit more confidence, which can be scary. For example, knowing that the Archaludon is Ghost Terra, as well as knowing the Covert Cloak Pelipper, there are definitely ways to play around it. Paldean Tauros really does not like going against flying type damage and flying type Pokemon in general, and so you have to be careful about that because, yeah, it can just very easily get KO'd, and your defensive Terra does not exist here because it's Grass Terra here on Tauros. Rillaboom obviously is going to be quite weak to flying type damage as well, and Pelipper on this team really, really weak to electric type damage. You don't have Protect, you don't have Focus Sash, so if you don't position this properly, it can just get one shot and go down without really doing anything other than setting up the weather, and that can be pretty scary as well. So those are a couple things that I wanted to note. Okay, we've got Yamega, Sableye, Mousehold, Typhlosion, Garchomp, and Torkoal here. A lot of interesting Pokemon. I've got Pelipper, which is obviously going to be really good into the Sun here. I've got Gambit as well. I don't know if I love Tauros. I think Loaded Dice Dragonite's probably going to be one of the most important Pokemon for us in this matchup. Sableye does scare me a little bit. I think I like leading Dragonite. My main concern would be probably Mousehold, right? To which I could lead Tauros. Like, I think this could be Tauros, Dragonite, Pelipper in the back. Could go Archaludon as the fourth here. Rilla's really not good into Yamega, Typhlosion, Torkoal. There's merit to Gambit here. Problem is it's not going to one-shot anything other than Typhlosion maybe. But yeah, I think I like these four here. I think getting Intimidate off immediately to threaten things like Garchomp as well as Mousehold is good. Tauros also just does a lot of damage, right? I can always switch in Pelipper and just go for Wave Crash. But one of the things to think about is Sunny Day from the Sableye. Sorry, I said Wave Crash. I mean Raging Bull. It's going to be Yamega Sableye. Okay, normally Yamega's going to want to protect here. Having the Scale Shot here is pretty cool. I lean towards doubling up onto onto Sableye turn 1. I am at risk of like fake out Air Slash into this, so I think it also could make sense to actually hard switch this into Archaludon turn 1, but it might break my Sturdy. But yeah, Yamega shouldn't really be able to threaten Archaludon very much. So I think I'm down to switch into Archaludon and then Scale Shot into Sableye. I just think, like, here it is fairly likely Yamega just protects turn 1, so eliminating Sableye while getting Scale Shot off would give me a huge advantage, but I don't want to risk losing Tauros this early. Yeah, they do just end up protecting though, okay. Could also just be like a Will-O-Wisp. Yeah, okay, it is Will-O-Wisp. Nice. Well, I don't mind that too much then. I will now be able to Scale Shot into Sableye. Cool. Pretty solid damage. If we get 5 hits, that might actually be a knockout, which would be huge. 3. Oh, it's Citrus Sableye? That's interesting. Okay. Or you end up getting 5 hits. Cool. I can now protect Electro Shot this next turn, which feels pretty strong. Little speed boost. Yeah, I mainly don't want to get burnt right now. Could also just try to eliminate Sableye immediately right now. Say Dragon Pulse into you, protect. I don't hate that option because now that I have the speed boost on Dragonite, I think like I'm looking really good into what they have in the back. And we know that they have Will-O-Wisp, right? So I don't want to get burnt. Okay, they set up Sunny Day, but that's fine. I'm going to just be able to switch into Pelipper later. And it is Hypnosis on the... Yeah, Mega. Okay. So we'll take care of Sableye now, but obviously the pressure would sleep onto the Dragonite slot, which is a little bit spooky. I could, for example, like, Extreme Speed Mega, break Sash if they're going to Hypnosis us, but I don't know, like, there's a part of me that's like, maybe I just accept that they are going to put me to sleep. I think right now you can bring out Typhlosion. Or Maushold if you have it. It is Mouse. Okay. So obviously you can Population Bomb into me, but you cannot put this to sleep, which is a pretty big deal. If I'm my opponent, I'm clicking Hypnosis and Population Bomb into Dragonite. So I think I want to go for Electroshock here into Yamega and then switch out into Tauros. The idea here is Tauros gets the Intimidate onto the Maushold. I don't really need Tauros that much in this matchup. And Electroshock brings Yamega down to 1 HP so that Extreme Speed can just finish it off later on in this battle. Like right now, I don't think they have too much offensive potential into the Archaludon, which is good. It's going to be a Terra here. Terra Ground Yamega would be annoying, but it's going to be Terra on the Maushold into Terra Normal. Okay, that's fine. Obviously, now you have a stronger Population Bomb, but still not too much of an issue. And one of the upsides here is Sableye burning my Archaludon early on this game, so I don't have to worry as much about their offense. Oh, we're faster than Maushold. That's absolutely huge. I think that honestly just wins us the game, because now, if you do Population Bomb and KO Tauros, Dragonite comes back out, and I just Extreme Speed Mega Aura Sphere into the Maushold. And they're not Sash either. What? Okay, I'll take it. I actually would have preferred them to be Sash, honestly, I think. Did they just miss Population Bomb? And they targeted Archaludon. What? This has been a crazy game. Well, I wish that connected. I was curious how much it would have done to us. They must know, obviously, that we are sturdy, because otherwise that's just an absolutely wild play to make. But since I know I'm faster, I think here I can just go for Terra, so I don't faint to Garchomp, Aura Sphere into you, and then switch out into Pelipper. Is that my safest play? We want to respect Swords Dance on this. Terra Ghost means actually we completely wall you. So why not knock that out, right? Why not Terra Ghost, Dragon Pulse into this, and then switch into Pelipper? Yeah, I think I like that more. But yeah, that was obviously a disastrous turn with the miss. I don't know if you're knocking out the Archaludon anyway, even if you get 10 hits from a Pop Bomb with the Intimidate. Surely they're Wide Lens, right? So the 1% chance to miss comes out. But yeah, since we were faster, I think even if they had gotten that knockout, it was still fine. Because then I get a free switch in into Dragonite, and then I can just pivot Tauros out and back in again. Oh, they're just really slow here. Okay. Like, they're just completely slower than Archaludon. We knock out Garchomp here. And they Pop Bomb into us again. I'm gonna pull up the damage calc to see how much 10 Population Bombs into Archaludon would have been. Because I don't think it's a knockout personally, but we don't have bulk on this, so I'm not actually 100% sure of that. But either way, in this game, yeah, it felt like we just had total control with Archaludon specifically. And part of it is them just being not max speed with a lot of their Pokemon. Normally with Garchomp and Maushold, I would expect them to just be like absolute max speed, Jolly 252. So them not being that on either definitely made the game easier for us. And obviously, the 1% chance to miss the Population Bomb, assuming they're Wide Lens, made things easier as well. But let's pull up the damage calc and see if they would have gotten a knockout with 10 hits and sprinkle in a couple crits there as well. Okay, Indeedee plus Sneasler, Pelipper plus Archaludon, Porygon 2 plus Ursaluna. Very clear list of trios here, or duos, I should say. A trio of duos. What do I like here? Tauros gives us Intimidate. Not really much to be copying. I think Rillaboom is probably a must bring into this one. Good into most of their team. Dragonite is compelling to me with Loaded Dice Scale Shot. Probably want Tauros. Do I just drop Rain in this one? I feel like Gambit could be good here because of Focus Sash, so it can soak up a close combat. Yeah, I'm thinking something like Dragonite, Kingambit, Tauros, Rillaboom. I do think it feels a little bit bad to drop Archaludon. We do have Ghost Terror on this, which is handy. My problem is Indeedee is kind of an offensive force into it as well. It's not a bad bring. I think it's just like, I'm obviously frail because it's like the very offensive Archaludon set here, so it's a little bit more difficult to execute in my opinion. Especially because they have things that can't be bulky, right? It's gonna be Sneasler Archaludon, okay. I think turn 1, I don't mind double protecting to see what they want to go for. This helps me get around Fake Out, for example. I think Kingambit will probably look towards pivoting out, actually. I can go into Tauros this next turn. And Scale Shot into Sneasler while Ferroterring Dragonite as well. That's the play I lean towards the most. Oh, but they just Dire Claw, which would have covered for Fairy Terra, so their willingness to do that scares me a little bit. And Dragon Pulse, okay. I do think if I switch in Tauros here, even if you Dire Claw me, it's fine, but they could roll a status condition, which is always scary, but I'm thinking of sending it. Skill Shot here, bring in Tauros. My dream would be that they now like launch a fighting type attack into the Kingambit slot. This was a good lead by them, I think. What would I have had that really threaten it more? Probably not leading Gambit, but I think Gambit was a solid pick into like Sneasler Indeedee, for example, because it's completely immune to Expanding Force and I can soak up a close combat, knock out Indeedee, or do a lot of damage to it, bring it down to Sash, and then it's in like Fake Out KO range, for example. I'm also curious if they're White Herb here. That is the thing on Sneaslers, but it's not going to be. Okay. Dream scenario here would be that they close combat Tauros, we Scale Shot KO them, they Dragon Pulse us. But I think they might just go Dire Claw again, but I still want a Terra here, more so to deal with the Dragon Pulse. Yeah, they do Dire Claws, but with Multi-Scale and Intimidate, not the worst. Cool, yeah. They Pulse. Scale Shot does connect, nice. 1 hit. 2 hits. 3 hits. 4 hits. Ooh, we don't get 5. Okay. That's fine. No Unburden is activated, though, which is nice. I could see them switching in Indeedee right now. I honestly kind of want to double up onto this. I think I can also protect here. I don't mind protecting and close combating into Archaludon. Yep, Archaludon does switch. Okay, so it should be Indeedee coming out would be my guess. Yep. Fine by me. Getting close combat off into the Indeedee, in my opinion, is quite important because it sets me up for success later. Because it's just 1 attack away from getting KO'd. My question is whether or not it'd be like Scarf Indeedee. As I get a special defense boost thanks to White Mirror Herb. We'll protect here. Cool, they Dire Claw into us. Next turn, I can pretty easily switch Dragonite out into Kingambit, but it's fairly obvious of a play. I wonder if they read into it. Ooh, that one-shots them. They are not Sash, so they may have actually been Scarfed. Okay, sick. Because what I can do now is just pivot Tauros out into Rillaboom and just Extreme Speed to finish off the Sneasler. Okay, they bring up Pelipper. I could also switch this out, right? I think it's better to switch Tauros out, though. Reset the defense drop. Gambit's in the back. Tauros is also more important to have to deal with the Archaludon. So, yeah, I'm down to Extreme Speed here. Pivot in Rilla. I don't mind eating up a Hurricane right now into that slot anyway. Sneasler might protect here. They didn't go for Fake Out on turn 1. So, like, normally you're going to run one of Fake Out or Coaching, Close Combat, Dire Claw, Protect. But sometimes you have Fake Out and Coaching on the same set. Sometimes you have Throat Chop as well. Nice, they don't protect. Beautiful. This is why Loaded Dice Dragonite, by the way, right now is really meta. Being able to just knock Sneasler out potentially through Focus Sash is a big deal. They do end up just clicking Hurricane into us. That's fine. Don't love eating up the confusion there, but it is what it is. I still don't know what kind of Archaludon set this is, which makes things interesting. But Tauros should have a really good matchup into it at this point. Yeah. We just have to be careful because I don't have any special damage with me right now, right? I lean towards just going for a Scale Shot here. Think about doubling up onto Pelipper. Nice. Archaludon protects. Cool. So it's not Assault Vested. Okay, they just go for a double protect. That's fine. Trying to bypass Fake Out. We're confused. Don't hit ourselves in confusion. Knowing that you're not Assault Vest is good. I guess it doesn't really change much, but it makes me think they'll probably be less bulky, which is good for us, in my opinion. Because it's easier to handle it with what we have in the back. Heal up. I'm down to just Scale Shot again. And Grassy Glide again. We just want to eliminate Pelipper and make this a 4v1, essentially. Archaludon can't clean through everything. It's going to be Terra here. Terra Steel on Peli would be pretty cool. That's going to be Terra Archaludon. Okay. Terra Electric. Okay, that's perfect for us, because this means you're the offensive variant, but like with the Skill Shot speed boost, it just means that I can now use what I have in the back. Like, I have Sucker Punch from Kingambit, right? Instead of dealing with something like Terra Fairy Archaludon, or Terra Flying Archaludon. Glide in itself does a ton of damage there, so Scale Shot now should definitely get the knockout. And yeah, I think Dragonite's just such an amazing Pokemon, and we've seen so many different versions of it succeed in this format, but this Loaded Dice Scale Shot one is a beast. So they'll probably Electro Shot us here into the Dragonite, but then I get a free switch in back out into Tauros, and then we can go from there. The double up onto Pelipper may have been a little bit risky, because the Archaludon theoretically could have just Flash Cannon that turn, which would have been scary, but then I guess I get a free switch in, and still pressure with a lot of offense, and with Tauros in the back, I always felt pretty good in this one. But here's the Grass Terra Electro Shot. Sorry, Electric Terra Electro Shot. Not Grass Terra. That should knock out Dragonite. Yeah. But Dragonite was incredible for us in this game, right? It knocked out the Sneasler, it knocked out the Pelipper, and was able to just really scare my opponent, especially after we are able to get that speed boost. So I here am happy to go into the... Would I rather go into Kingambit or Tauros first? Because we should be outspeeding our Archaludon anyway, so I think it's fine to just go out into Tauros right now. Especially while the rain is up. Just double checking the field state. 2 turns of rain and terrain. Like, I think I'm honestly happy to just go for Raging Bull here. And Woodhammer. Yeah, and like this is one of the upsides of Tauros in this format, right? It's just faster than so many Pokemon. We're just gonna Electro Shot again. Knock out Tauros, but then I think Woodhammer just KOs them. So, yep. Special attack boost. Let's see. Let's go into Tauros. Fine by me. Knocks us out. Tauros getting the one-hit knockout onto Indeedee was huge in this game because it just meant that I got terrain control immediately, which I think was a really big deal. We snap out of Confusion, which is great. So fortunately, it didn't get messed over by Confusion in this game, and Woodhammer just delivers the finishing blow. Nice. Yeah, I think them being the less defensive Archaludon made this a lot easier. I was a little bit worried about the stamina set where like I have to launch a couple of attacks into it, and since I'm only using physical attackers, like each attack obviously increases its defense, and so that could have been a little bit spooky for us in the end. But yeah, with them being the more offensive variant, it just was a very clear end game for us, basically. I think, yeah, the one turn that was maybe a little bit risky once again was like doubling up into Pelipper, since if Peli protects there, our Archaludon could have just gone Electric Terror that turn and gone for an attack. So I had fake out pressure there as well, so the double protect made sense from their end. Like, I think a better play for my end may have been to actually just fake out Archaludon and then go for Scale Shot, but the reason I didn't was because I did not want to give Archaludon a free defense boost if it was actually the stamina variant. Okay, we have the team that Nils Dunlop used to win the little regional championship. This is a team that you definitely should be prepared for. It is Choice Scarf Indeedee with Expanding Force, Terra Blast, Trick Protect, Psychic Seed Corviknight with Bulk Up, and it's coaching Sneasler as well with White Herb. The White Herb is actually a big deal because it means Tauros can't just go for the Intimidate onto it as effectively. Oh, one thing to note, though, is that they have Garchomp over Excadrill. Otherwise, the team is the same. So maybe they changed some sets here. It's Focus Sash, Swords Dance, Excadrill in the initial version of this team. To deal with Corviknight, I think Weather Ball, Peli, I think Archaludon are both important. So we want to bring those. I think we want Rilla in the matchup. Dragonite does have Haze, so I could get rid of Boost from Corviknight, but dropping Tauros seems kind of odd in a matchup like this. So I'm thinking of the middle four here. Archaludon lead. Tauros, Rilla, Peli. Honestly, I don't even know if I need Rillaboom. It's mainly just to give me terrain control. Like, I think Dragonite could actually be a better pick. Because Rilla's actually really bad into everything else. So, I'm down for that. I don't know if that's the right decision. We'll see. The main thing is if it's Scarf Indeedee, Tauros can crush it. And we have Wide Guard on Peli as well. So all it takes is just like one really powerful attack, whether it be close combat from Tauros or a loaded dice Scale Shot to mess up the Indeedee. It's going to be Sneasler Indeedee here, okay? Are you White Herb or Psychic Seed? Wait, neither? So it's Sash then probably, right? Okay. Huh. It's fine by me. Although I now see the value of Rillaboom would be just to get rid of terrain. Intimidate from you. Shouldn't really do too much damage. I'm going to lean towards Ghost Terra, Electro Shot here, and Protect turn 1. Now I'm just completely immune to close combat. Yeah, so this is not the exact version of Nils' team. We obviously already saw an adaptation with the Sneasler not being White Herb, and then also Garchomp over Excadrill. Okay, that works for me. They go for Trick. That really limits their offense now. And Dire Claw. Wow. So, okay, the logic there is I think my opponent was really expecting a Rillaboom switch in there that turn. But now they get punished super heavily. Because they basically don't get anything off from this turn. And now the Indeedee is going to just be stuck clicking Trick this next turn, which puts my opponent in a really bad spot in my opinion. If they survive, which they do. Okay. Well, since we know they should be locked into Trick, we should just guarantee the knockout onto this. I did commit the Ghost Terra, which doesn't feel great, but it's fine. Do I want to Scarf on any of these Pokemon? Because low-key, I think switching in Dragonite here to get a Scarf would be pretty cool. But then I guess I lose my loaded dice, which doesn't feel great. Go into Pelly. Honestly, giving this the Scarf isn't even that bad. Yeah, I think here I'm actually down to Dragon Pulse into Sneasler. And go for Raging Bull. Okay, they switch. Nothing can take this that well other than Corv, I guess. It's T-Tard. Okay. Could have gone for close combat there, maybe. But I think, yeah, just not going for Expanding Force on turn 1 really punished them immediately. And, like, I will gladly take a Choice Scarf. I'm just really confused by Sneasler's item because Focus Sash is, like, not the strongest when you have Sand on your team, right? So, here's Raging Bull. Decent damage. Dragon Pulse. Obviously, Tyranitar can't be Scarf. Looks like Assault Vest. We get a crit. Sturdy now breaks, but that's fine. Yeah, Nidity's slower than us, so we have a major speed advantage right now. We know Sneasler's in the back. I think I'm fine to just click Dragon Pulse again. And Raging Bull again. Should be Assault Vest Tyranitar. But we don't want Indy to get an attack off, so I think Dragon Pulse into the T-Tar slot and Raging Bull into Indy is fine. And don't forget, like, Dragonite's really good against Sneasler with the loaded dice set, so I feel good into that. Okay, they're just going to give up both Pokemon here. I'll gladly take that. I think one thing that I like about this team is that it has a lot of Sneasler counterplay between Ghost Terra Archaludon as well as loaded dice on the Dragonite and Intimidate from Tauros. But this game definitely hasn't played out the way I expected it to. I think they just went really all in on the Rillaboom switch on turn 1. And to my opponent's credit, if I had Rillaboom, I think I actually would have very heavily considered that. Because they were probably thinking, oh, you're going to switch in Rillaboom and Protect on turn 1, right? So I can steal your Assault Vest away and do a ton of damage. I'm in pretty decent shape. So I can see where they're going for. Sneasler comes out, and Corv is the last one. Okay. Now, the good thing is that we have Haze on the Dragonite, so I can just get rid of any of the boosts here on Corviknight. Okay. I want to just get rid of Sneasler right now. I have a special attack boost on this. I could switch in Pelly right now and Raging Bull. But Pelly also probably just wants to Weather Ball this to win this endgame. So I'm thinking right now I just double up onto Sneasler. Get this out of the way. If it is Nils' set, then Sneasler would not have Protect here, but they've already deviated a lot from the team, so I wouldn't count on it. Corv is going to Terra here into Terra Water. Okay. That's fine by me. It means I can actually Dragon Pulse you now. Cool. We just get Raging Bull off on the Sneasler. Nice. Coaching, maybe? Yeah. Haze Dragonite now just ends this game immediately, which will be great for us. I shouldn't say ends the game immediately, but just like Corviknight just really can't break through everything once we Haze, in my opinion. So Sneasler faints. Awesome. And I think this is the classic syndrome that Corviknight can have. Now, one of the cool things about the Corviknight... Oh, Power Trip does nothing! What? That was a lot weaker than I thought it would be. Dang. Yeah, I'm surprised at how little it did there. Okay. 1 turn of Psychic Terrain, 2 turns of Sandstorm. The speed order here would be Archaludon first instead of Dragonite. Because, like, I would love to Haze this and then Dragon Pulse it. That would be ideal. But I think it's fine. I'm still fine going for Protect here and then switching Dragonite this turn, because with multi-skill, it's just really safe to switch in Dragonite. I'm not going to take a ton of damage even if you crit me with like a Brave Bird. But yeah, this set is Bulk Up, Power Trip, Brave Bird, and Roost. And Power Trip is cool because it allows you to actually hit Golden Go, which of course is one of the most common Pokemon in the format and otherwise would be really annoying for Corviknight to deal with. But they actually just go for Roost. Okay, that's fine. I don't think they needed to Roost that early since, like... But I guess they were thinking, hey, like, I might soak up a bunch of damage this turn, but you know Tauros isn't going to do much to you. It would have been hilarious to click Electroshock there. But yeah, I think now we can just get rid of their boosts. So I'm a Dragon Pulse into them and Haze. And without any boost, this Corviknight just can't really do very much. Decent damage from Pulse there. Goodbye. So Haze Dragonite normally used for Dondozo, but also applicable in this situation, which is great. Oh, and they bulk up again. Okay, cool. So now Dragon Pulse just does more. I think Dragon Pulse plus Loaded Dice just, Scale Shot just gets the KO now. No more Sandstorm. Dragon Pulse again, and Scale Shot. So it's a good example of playing flexible here, right? Like, we recognize, hey, like one of the win conditions is actually going for the going for the Haze in this end game. So 2 hits, 3 hits, and that's the KO. Nice. Yeah, ultimately, I think if they had stuck with Nils' initial team, it would have been a slightly tougher matchup for us, because I think White Herb on the Sneasler would have immediately activated on Burden and made it more threatening. And I think my opponent, yeah, just like really went all in on that first turn, but had they just clicked like Expanding Force, then I actually would have taken some decent damage on the Archaludon slot. So I think it's really hard to pilot Choice Scarf in ED Mail, and Nils is like one of the greatest players of all time, right? So being able to, like, a player of his caliber can really, really use it effectively, but I think it's a really tough Pokemon to use in this format. And like, I think my opponent's prediction turn 1 was a really good attempt as well, right? I just didn't even bring Rillaboom because I thought it was so bad into everything else on my opponent's team. And I would have preferred just like either more offense from something like Pelipper or the Dragonite, for example. And we didn't end up bringing Pelipper in this one, but you know what I also could have done? I also could have just switched in Pelipper and Electro-Shotted. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, that probably was actually the better move, but I wanted to show off Haze. But the main point that I was trying to make here is that, like, Scarfinity Mail struggles a lot in this format because you have to worry about Rillaboom, Kingambit, and like all the dark types, like Incineroar as well, right? And things that resist it. So it's not easy to pilot. But I'm ultimately curious on the item on Sneasler and whether or not it was Psychic Seed, or it wasn't Seed, or like the White Herb, so my guess is Focus Sash. But yeah, Sash is tough to use when Tyranitar breaks your own Sash, ultimately. No way! This is the Ribombee team that I featured on the channel in the very beginning of the format. It's a really fun team that has Ribombee, obviously. Ribombee is scary to go up against because it's obviously quite fast, and it can set up Tailwind for the team, and it's got a really good ability as well. This team reached like rank number 1 on the ladder early on, so this is like in the beginning of September. So if you want to see me play with the team that my opponent's using, check out the video linked down in the description below. Tears is definitely one thing to respect from their end. Trick Room is one thing to respect from their end. We have Ghost Terra Archaludon, which I think should be really good here because it gets around Fake Out from Incin as well as the Gothitelle. Kingambit I think is good here. Tauros isn't bad offensively, but it has to worry about Moonblast from Ribombee, so maybe that's not the best call. Don't think Dragonite's that great here. Like, you can trap me in with Gothitelle and Scale Shot me, so I think Archaludon is probably the most important Pokemon. Archaludon. I think Sash Gambit here is really good. Archaludon, Gambit, Pelipper. And I'm pretty Primarina weak right now, right? So I'm gonna go Rilla. Okay. Let's see what they go with. Basically, the idea behind Ribombee is with your ability, you don't have to worry about Fake Out, right? It's like a built-in Covert Cloak, essentially, so you can use it to just set up Tailwind and go for Fake Tears immediately, which is really powerful. And then with 2 different means of speed control, with Trick Room and Tailwind, it can be a little bit spooky. It's going to be Ribombee plus the Golden Go. Okay. It's Specs Golden Go, so they would probably want to just Steel Terra, make it rain, turn 1. Tailwind, Steel Terra, make it rain is my guess for what they want to do. To which I could Aura Sphere. I could also just like protect Archaludon turn 1. And Kowtow Cleave and a Golden Go. Oh, maybe they changed the sets here, because I could have just Sucker Punch there. But this is still fine. They're going to Tailwind. And Shadow Ball. Okay, nice. Even better. I'm really surprised, though, that they opened like themselves to so much risk from Kingambit. Like, no Terra, no Switch, and Kowtow just, yeah, gets the KO there. So I'll gladly take that turn. I think what's probably scary, though, is Ursaluna Blood Moon can now come out. But I do have Sturdy and Focus Sash, which is a pretty big deal here, right? You can't knock out both Pokemon simultaneously, which is a big deal. I'm thinking we go for... I could switch this out into Rilla. Because you would think they would want to Earth Power right now, right? But I do have the Sturdy. So I'm thinking we just Aura Sphere here. Dark Terra, Sucker Punch. No Terra from their end, okay. Should knock out Ursaluna then. If they don't double up onto Archaludon. And if they double up on Archaludon, then I get a free switch it into the Rillaboom, right? And we still have Focus Sash. Like, the Sash on Kingambit's a really big deal, I think. Here's Dark Terra, Sucker Punch. Okay. They actually Moonblast into Kingambit, but that's fine. They might have just Moonblast and Earth Powered, and if that's the case, then we'll survive with 1 HP on both Pokemon, which is really nice. Beautiful. Cool. Nice. Already activates. Their Life Orb. Aura Sphere now delivers the KO here. So they're down to their final Pokemon, which I would guess is Primarina here. And Primarina can still be scary, right? It is Primarina, yeah. Because it's Dragon Terra Primarina, which is a little bit spooky. 2 turns of Tailwind left. I think I would like to switch in Rilla right now and Protect. I could also switch in Rilla. Sucker Punch into this. Actually, yeah, I like Rilla, Sucker Punch into Ribombee, break Sash, UKO Kingambit, then Rilla fake outs Primarina, and then I Hurricane to just knock out the Ribombee, because Ribombee shouldn't have Protect here. And then Archaludon has a really good matchup in a Primarina because it covers for Dragon Terra with Dragon Pulse. We can just try to bait out the Terra. They're going to Terra here immediately. Okay. Great. Cool. So Dragon Terra committed. Sucker Punch should break Ribombee's Sash. Although they don't have to go for an offensive move. You could Fake Tears here. But they're not going to. Okay, cool. So I get Sucker Punch off. That's so much damage. They Moonblast into us. Perfect. And I think, yeah, maybe my opponent just held on to the Terra because there's like, I don't think you're actually going to Sucker Punch Golden Goal on turn 1. Which, they were right. I didn't Sucker Punch them. And they go for Hyper Voice. Them going for Shadow Ball, though, rather than Make Your Rain was huge. But it makes sense because I think they were like, look, I need to get chip damage onto the Archaludon because if you're Assault Vest Archaludon, it's really spooky. But, yep. Now I get Pelly in for free. Beautiful. And unless they've changed the sets, this Ribombee shouldn't have Protect. So I can just go for Fake Out into Hurricane. Fake out you, Hurricane into you. Yeah, Primarina's Protect, but that's fine. Ribombee crit should not knock out us here. And Primarina, I don't think, can win a 1v3 against AV Rillaboom, Pelly, as well as Archaludon. It's going to be Pollen Puff into us, that's fine. Obviously, actually does really good damage here, but we'll get the knockout onto them. Cool. And now the main thing is just making sure we don't carelessly switch in our Archaludon. The easiest way we could actually throw this game right now is to just bring out our Archaludon and it gets sniped off, because Rillaboom and the Pelipper aren't actually going to do very much damage to a Primarina right now. So we just wait for the free switch in into our Archaludon, get chip damage onto this, and then Dragon Pulse ends the game. So I'm happy to just Woodhammer here and Hurricane into Primarina. Should still do around like 25%. Oh, even more actually. It's like 40. Cool. I wonder if Hurricane just gets the KO. Probably not. Yeah, things on with 10%. And they Moonblast Pelly. Does that even KO us? Oh, it actually does get the one-hit knockout. The Throat Spray coming in clutch. But because they committed their Terra, we just, yeah, Dragon Pulse them. And honestly, even if they didn't commit their Terra, it was still fine, since Woodhammer then would have just crushed the Primarina. But yeah, the key thing in this game was recognizing that, like, it's pretty fast-paced offense, and us having Sturdy as well as Focus Sash is really, really helpful in dealing with teams like this. So, you know, Focus Sash Kingambit is not really common at all, right? When you look at the common sets on Open Team Sheet, Best of 3, that have succeeded in tournaments, it's like Assault Vest, or Black Glasses, or Safety Goggles, pretty much all the time. But Sash is really, really nice on the ladder, because surviving just one big attack and being able to retaliate back is a big deal. And then being able to control, like, and then get a Sucker Punch off, right, once you're down on 1 HP is also really nice. So, yeah, Gambit put in the work for us in this game. And the idea is priority is really good against dealing with the Tailwind modes, right? I also wanted to cover for Trick Room, though, right, because this team has a Trick Room component with Gothitelle as well. So that was really important to play and pick in a way that doesn't just be Tailwind. It wanted to have flexibility to cover for the Trick Room mode as well. And I think, like, Archaludon plus Gambit is so nice, because Gambit threatens into Gothitelle, Insane, if they want to go with that, for example. And Archaludon can Ghost Terror to get around Fake Outs here on turn 1 of the game as well. They actually ended up not bringing the Fake Out users, and I think they actually committed to the best mode possible against our team. So really well done with the team selection there from my opponent. But in the end, yeah, like Gambit having the Assault Vest was really, really big. Or sorry, instead of Assault Vest, Gambit having the Focus Sash was really, really big. Dusclops, Metagross, Torkoal, Ursaluna, Rillaboom, Incineroar here. That's really cool. I feel like there's probably some weakness policy stuff going on here. Bulldoze Dusclops, maybe? That would be really interesting. I'm thinking, like, do I even want, like, I could bring Dragonite just for Haze? I could bring Paldean Tauros, if I think that's what's coming my way. I think Pelipper, Gambit are must-brings into this matchup. I don't like Rillaboom here. What Terra is Dusclops going to go for is my question. Gambit. I think Gambit Archaludon is what I like, with Pelipper in the back. I don't think it's the right matchup for Dragonite. I do think you could make an argument for Tauros here, honestly. Especially with close combat. But the advantage of Rillaboom would be giving us Fake Out support. So it's like if they set up Trick Room, Rillaboom can Fake Out whatever is not like the Dusclops. Normally the Ursaluna or the Metagross. Rillaboom's honestly probably a better brain, but I'm interested in what Tauros can do here. It's going to be Metagross and the Dusclops, okay. Frisk is actually really nice for them to have here. My guess is Metagross protects and Dusclops Terras. But I'm still going to just go for Kowtow Cleave and Electroshot here, I think. And if they don't Terra, I think we just knock out Dusclops. It could be... like, I just think it's weakness policy Metagross, if this is the lead. It also then begs a question. Okay, Metagross switches, that's fine. Into what? Ursaluna Blood Moon, okay. And then you probably Terra your... oh, they don't Terra! Does Dusclops really survive this? Maybe it does. Maybe I need it to Dark Terra then. Because I feel like if they don't get Trick Room up in this game, we just win. But now maybe Kingambit outspeeds Ursaluna under Trick Room. Telltale Cleave. Yeah, I don't think this KOs. Oh, wow. Yeah, I could have Dark Terror there. Dark Terror there probably was just game waiting on the spot, because with Focus Sash intact on Gambit, we would have been in really good shape. Still fine, though. I think this turn I don't mind double protecting to see what they want to go for. They also probably don't expect Aura Sphere, so part of me is thinking I just protect here and Aura Sphere into you here. Because I think my opponent should actually feel more threatened by Kingambit than Archaludon now that I've committed Electro Shot, but this could be risky if they actually double up into it. Memento. Oh, gosh. Okay. Well, this is where the Aura Sphere on Archaludon is amazing. They are going to end up overpowering into us, but that's fine because we survive with Sturdy. And now I'm going to Aura Sphere off into you. That's a one-hit KO. Let's go. Nice. Yeah, I figure, like, a lot of times people think they're just safe into Archaludon because, like, oh, you're just Electro Shot. You've committed your Power Herb now. What are you going to do? Hit me with a Dragon Pulse? I'm not that scared, but... yeah, they bring out Torkoal now. Okay. Air Balloon. That's interesting. Pretty easy to switch into Pelipper right now. I mean, are you really going to Memento again? My guess is no. I think I'm down, though, to just switch in Pelipper and then sacrifice Archaludon and get a free switch in. Yeah, switch in Peli. Electro Shot into you. Like, Torkoal is just so countered by Pelipper here, right? Our little historical genius. See many generations. So much history. Yeah, it's gonna be Shadow Sneak. That's fine. So, Shadow Sneak really makes me think it's weakness policy metagrows. Shadow Sneak, Memento, Trick Room. And they go for Weather Ball here. That's fine. Okay. I can bring out... I could bring out Tauros. Yeah, I think Tauros is better here, right? Because it's like, what is Torkoal doing in this spot? I think the one thing we probably respect is them clicking Shadow Sneak into Torkoal right now. Like, I'm down to just Weather Ball this, honestly, and Raging Bull into it. Because I think Torkoal's in such a bad spot, you would surely consider switching out here, but it would be an amazing play by my opponent to actually just, like, protect it right now. Because I think it's, like, the obvious play for me here is to just take the knockout onto Dusclops, right? And if you're my opponent and I knock out Dusclops as you stay in with Torkoal, that Torkoal slot is just completely useless. But even in the worst case here, I think, like, I'm not at too much risk of losing a ton, and then I can always just double protect the next turn. Pain Split Dusclops is probably the most annoying thing that could come out right now. But they make the switch. Perfect. And now, like, I think Metagross honestly just faints, but let's see. Even if it doesn't, it's just, like, one attack away from getting KO'd, right? And they're actually going to sneak into Tauros, so this is a good example how, like, intentionally not picking up a knockout benefits us, right? Because it's like, what is the... oh, that was just a crit and KOs, okay. But we doubled up onto that slot, so we would have gotten the knockout anyway. But it's a testament to Pelipper's offense, honestly. Raging Bolt comes out. But yeah, it's like the idea here is we would have knocked out the Metagross, then there's, what, one more turn of Trick Room, and then I can just, like, protect Tauros, switch Pelipper out, and then we just win the Weather War completely, and once the Weather War is won, Dusclops and Torkoal is, like, not really going to do much into us. Air Balloon is also interesting here. But now I can just switch in a Gambit and protect. If I were to replay this game, though, I do think Dark Terroring on turn 1 would have been worth it. I was just shocked that they didn't Terra Dusclops and, like, risk losing Dusclops on turn 1 when their strategy basically entirely revolves around Trick Room. I think what was the biggest tool for us in this game was the Aura Sphere on the Archaludon, and once again, like, it speaks to great team building, right? Being able to catch your opponents off guard and just get these surprise knockouts is huge. So Torkoal hits the field. They're gonna just go for Eruption here. Yep. But now I can just switch back out into Pelipper, Raging Bull. And yeah, Torkoal here doesn't even have like a Specs or a Charcoal, so its damage output is going to just be lacking. Trick Room expires. Can bring in Pelly now and go for the Raging Bull here. And yeah, I think Ursaluna would have been the primary carry of their team here. And I think what kind of made it tough was that their team relies a little bit too much on Trick Room, right? And that Dusclops just doesn't exert that much pressure once Trick Room gets set up. So we change the weather. There's Raging Bull now into Torkoal in the rain. Almost gets the one-hit knockout, which is a testament to how defensive Torkoal is, right? Like max HP, solid base defense stat. But Earth Power doesn't even bring us under half here. So we can just Weather Ball again and Aqua Jet to deliver the finishing blow. Cool. But yeah, I think since I didn't even end up using my Terra in this game, it was probably worth just going for Terra on turn 1. I really thought +1 Electroshot and Kowtow Cleave would knock out Dusclops, which is why I was like, I don't think we need to Terra. But the fact that it survives, I've kind of just forgotten how bulky Dusclops is because it's not a common choice in this format. If you're looking for Trick Room users with Eviolite, Porygon 2 normally is a lot more common, and the reason for that is because it exerts a lot more offensive pressure than Dusclops with Terra Blast as well as moves like Ice Beam, for example, and Shadow Ball, right? Although Shadow Ball, haven't really seen too much of recently. It's mainly just been Terra Blast, Ice Beam, but yeah. Anyway, point is, in this game, their team revolved a lot around Trick Room. We, having the Focus Sash and the Sturdy, meant that it was a lot easier to fight around. And, yeah, being able to just Aura Sphere to pick off the Ursaluna was huge for us. Whoa! That's a Carbink. Okay, Indeedee, Braviary, Incineroar, Ursaluna, Pelipper, Carbink. I don't really know what that does in this day and age, so I'm excited to find out. You definitely have to be careful about Braviary. I think Rilla, Gambit, for sure. Dragonite, or Archaludon, maybe. Tauros isn't bad either, though, damage-wise. Maybe I like that more, actually. I think the main tempting thing is Aura Sphere from Archaludon can be kind of cool. But yeah, I'm thinking something like Dragonite Gambit lead here. Tauros Rilla. Pelipper to Tailwind. It could Wide Guard. That's actually enough of a reason to consider bringing, I think. And Weather Ball's really good into Instant and Ursaluna. But I do want Tauros here for Intimidate into Ursaluna. And, like, we still get strong weather coverage, or water coverage, I should say, into their team with Tauros, right? So let's see. Yeah, I think in this, like, the leads I would expect are Indeedee plus Braviary. It's going to be Indeedee Carbink, though, which is really scary. And really, I just, once again, don't fully know what to expect from it. But I think, like, turn 1, I could probably just go Scale Shot into Iron Head. Right? Okay, I'm down for that. Indeedee's not really that scary here. Normally, yeah, the scariest thing would probably be, like, Terra fighting Terra Blast. But even if you do that, we're sashed anyway. So, I feel good about the spot. I think part of what makes this team really strong, as I mentioned in the team preview, is having Dragonite, Kingambit, and Archaludon all be able to survive attacks, right? Like, you've got the multi-scale on Dragonite, the Sturdy on Archaludon, as well as Focus Sash. Indeed, he actually pivots out, okay? To go into what? Ursaluna, okay. I'll gladly get some free damage onto that. Unless we miss. Oh! They're going to try to set up Trick Room here. Yeah. I could have doubled up onto that. Like, Sturdy was obvious. I think I was like, I don't really not really that worried about Trick Room, but missing that damage I think was really tough because it would have been a lot of free damage. So it's a little bit less than ideal. But it happens. It is what it is. Leaning towards switching into Tauros right now and protecting this turn. Get the Intimidate off. It's funny because just as I was talking about being able to survive big attacks, there they are. And I think it would have been smarter to just double up on Carbink since like Indeedee was in such a bad spot. Like, what are you going to do? Click Expanding Force, right? And with Ursaluna on their team, it was like very clear. I mean, Indeedee itself theoretically could set up Trick Room as well. So I guess maybe there's a world in which I double up on Carbink and then like they actually have Trick Room on Indeedee. But probably unlikely. I'm mainly curious here if like what Terra they are. How much they respect Kingambit as a threat. Well, we got Body Press, and the answer is they definitely respect it to some degree. Facade now. Yeah, this might still KO us even with Intimidate. Ooh, we survive. Nice, that's huge. Body Press, though, is obviously a concern. So I would like to Aqua Jet here. Pivot in Rillaboom. Change the terrain. Get Carbink out of the way. Problem is the Indeedee can just come right back out. Okay. I also maybe could have just stayed in with Dragonite last turn. But we'll finish off this, which is good. Cool, I'm gonna go for Earthquake, which Rilla is not obviously gonna take much from. So I get a free switch in back in now. I think it makes more sense to go out into the Gambit. I think even though I missed that turn one, like, I should have just been more aggressive on stopping Trick Room from Carbink specifically. They bring in Instance, that's gonna give us a Defiant boost, okay. I'll take that. You can now switch Incin out into Indeedee. This could be Ghost Terra, 2 turns of Trick Room. I lean towards protecting here and then switching out into Dragonite. For terrain control. This is where if we did not get the skill shot missed, then I could just Dark Terra Sucker Punch to finish off Ursaluna, I would guess, after the attack boost and the Terra. But that is the reality of skill shot. You are going to miss. Okay, so Rilla's going to pivot out here. I mainly just want to dodge like Fake Out plus an attack into the Gambit slot right now. Protect. No Terra from their end. Okay, Headlong Rush into Gambit. I wonder if they doubled up, or if they Parting Shot slash Flare Blitz here. Okay, it's just Flare Blitz, that's fine. This next turn, though, I think is a little bit tricky. We want to gain terrain control, so it's like protecting on this makes the most sense. Like I'm leaning towards Dark Terra, Kowtow Cleave here, and Protect here. Since we have Focus Sash. The risk here is they could just double up onto Kingambit. So there's a part of me that thought maybe I should Scale Shock here because I very easily could lose to Headlong Rush Flare Blitz on a Gambit right now. Which doesn't seem entirely unlikely. They're going for a Terra. Interesting. Okay. Could be Terra Fairy on this. That would be huge for them. Terra Normal. Okay, if you're going for that, that makes me think you're trying to knock out Dragonite with Facade. So I don't mind seeing that. We're getting close to an endgame where Dragonite can clean up with Scale Shot, I think. Gambit Terras. There's Protect. Okay. Cool. Facade into that. That's huge. That's huge. Nice. Means we get a really powerful Kowtow Cleave here. Not before they get Flare Blitz. Hopefully no burn. That'd be really bad. Okay, good. Kowtow Cleave comes out. Oof, almost just gets that KO. Okay. Trick Room expires. The scary thing here is I actually don't have very much to hit Incineroar with my 3 Pokemon. They also shouldn't do that much to us, and they're also going to be taking damage, but like, still kind of scary. I think here I don't mind Kowtow Cleave into Incin. I mean, I think I want to double up onto Incin here. Yeah, since Incin so rarely carries Protect. They don't Protect with Ursaluna, though. I think that's fine, as long as we get the knockout onto this. Citrus? It's not. Okay, that's good. We should knock out with Kowtow now. Huh? Is that a problem for me? I would have just won if I targeted Ursaluna here. But I thought Ursaluna would consider protecting. I mean, I'm getting a Kowtow into that slot, which is obviously good. And they're going to activate Defiant again if they just switch the Instant back in. So I think it's probably fine. Will you focus Sashed here? Okay, it's not Sashed. I think we're good. Because Rilla will be faster than Instant, so I can just trade Fake Outs. They're just going to Facade. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, cool. Gambit was so good here. Nice. But yeah, Carbink. Interesting Trick Room user. Right, you get access to Sturdy, which is nice. Bring Rilla now. When you win the Terrain War, Gambit is faster, as we've seen. You activate Defiant again. Cool. There's the Terrain. Intimidate comes out. Okay, we can just go for Kowtow Cleave here into Ursaluna, Fake Out into Incin. Don't have to worry about Ghost Terra or Covert Cloak. You know the items here. Nice. There's the KO onto Ursaluna. Cool. Yeah, I think the Tauros being able to survive that Facade was huge. Getting the Intimidate off. Ursaluna just wasn't able to threaten with one-hit knockouts nearly as easily, and having the comfort of, you know, knowing we had Focus Sash on Gambit was huge as well. So, despite the unfortunate miss on turn 1, we still managed to find our way into this game. Oh, yeah, I can Sucker here, and Wood Hammer. Cool, and I'm forfeiting. Okay, nice. Gambit was so good for us in this one, so very happy about its performance. This is a fun team. Amoonguss, Garchomp, Talonflame, Lucario, Lycanroc, and Tyranitar. Okay. This feels very much like a Pelipper Archaludon Tauros core. Dragonite's not terrible. Gambit here as Sash, which is nice. I think Amoonguss can be annoying. Like, what is our anti-Amoonguss, actually? Also, if you hear banging, it's because there's some construction going on ahead of me, or above me, so apologies for that. We are Grass Terra here, so maybe it's Tauros. I feel like I probably need to bring Rillaboom just to have an Amoonguss counter, right? And Rilla's not bad either. I mean, I don't mind Rilla, Tauros, or Archaludon Pelipper. Maybe even in this order. Okay. With this, if they lead Amoonguss, I can just Grass Terra Tauros immediately, and suddenly I have two things that are immune to Spore. I think my fear is if I lead Archaludon, like, I don't have very good Amoonguss counterplay. Because even if I, like, lead Archaludon with something like Tauros, and then switch Tauros out into Rillaboom, well, I'm still not really pressuring Amoonguss that much. I think Skill Shot Dragonite's also interesting. But I think Amoonguss's existence alone means I have to go with these. And if they don't bring Amoonguss, that's great, because I actually think we have a fantastic matchup into the rest of their composition. So, let's see. But yeah, Tauros, I think, is really good with this Intimidate and Priority into this one. Talonflame plus Lucario. Okay, that's fine by me. I mean, obviously, Talonflame is, like, a little bit scary right now, thanks to the threat of Covert Cloak. This is probably, what, Inner Focus Sash, maybe? Which is pretty cool. Seems Rilla's not actually that effective here. I could fake out this to break. Like, it's just a question of, do we think they're Covert Cloak? Because I'd bet on it. I'll tell you what, I'm actually still going to fake out this. Or actually, I might as well Grassy Glide, right? I want to Grassy Glide CC. But I think this is risky because Lucario could just protect as they Brave Bird or Tailwind. Lucario could Terra. And... okay, they just Brave Bird. We should survive this, right? Yeah, nice with Intimidate. So Glide breaks. Potential Sash here on Lucario. Yeah, KO. Nice. Cool. That played out exactly how I wanted it to. I don't mind eating up the Brave Bird on Tauros if it means knocking out Lucario, since the Talonflame is intimidated. And now, even if you have Amoonguss in the back, it's like you have Talonflame plus Amoonguss, and that's not exerting a lot of offensive pressure, so I think you have to go into whatever your fourth one is, rather than Amoonguss. But, let's see. If it is... it's T-Tar. Okay. That works for me. I mean, you probably have to Terra it, right? I have a lot of different options here. I think switching out into Archaludon is the most intriguing. Yes, it loses the Sturdy, but Sturdy is not really necessary against what they have on the field right now anyway. They might just be content launching another Brave Bird into Tauros. I ideally want to cycle this in for Intimidate. I could Terra here. You know, I honestly don't hate a double switch. I think the one scary thing here is that they could Brave Bird Rock Slide into double up into the Tauros slot. I think I also maybe don't hate U-turn Protect Tauros, but I just feel like this is such a prime position to switch out Tauros and reset it for another Intimidate, right? Yeah, we bait out Terra here, so if it's Flying Terra T-Tar Gray, I can just Electro Shot you now. Let's see. Cool. That's great. And I'm hoping they just Brave Bird Terra Blast right now. And then I can just cycle in the... okay, it's Tailwind, that's also fine. Tailwind Terra Blast makes sense. Yeah, it's totally okay. And it's even into our Archaludon slot. Great. Nice. We heal back. I can do a bunch of interesting things here. Because I could set up my own Tailwind right now, like Protect Tailwind. Obviously, I can just Electro Shot into you right now. I think I'm fine Electro Shotting and switching in Tauros. Because I don't want to lose Pelipper and just lose Weather Control. Getting another Intimidate's nice. Tailwind being up isn't honestly that big of a problem. So let's give it out. Get our Intimidate up. No Clear Amulet, which is good. Should be Assault Vest normally. Yeah, they Brave Bird to eliminate the Tauros, but that's fine. Free switch him back into Pelipper. That's what they go for. Oh, just Terra Blast, okay. Not too worried about the Archaludon, I guess, but intimidated. Well, actually, okay, that turned into a crit. I was wondering if it would, by any way, trigger... One of the interesting things about Terra Blast is it uses whatever is higher between your attack and special attack. So, like, if you're intimidated multiple times, you could switch to your special attack. Don't think that was the case there. That basically confirms Assault Vest on T-Tar as well, which is fine. Bring out Rilla now. And with this, we can very safely Fake Out into T-Tar and Electro Shot into this. No switch in into Electro... Oh, no, you do have a switch in Garchomp. Okay, it's actually better to Dragon Pulse then. And Fake Out. The one play that I think would give me trouble right now would be Tyranitar switch out, Talonflame Protect, because then you have one more turn of Tailwind, and you can switch T-Tar out into something that exerts more offensive pressure into me. But, okay, here's the switch. Are they protecting Talonflame, though, is the question. And it's a Moongus as the last one. Okay, cool. So I'm fine with that because you just don't exert much offense with it. There's Fake Out into them. Your Rocky Helmet, it's fine. And Will-O-Wisp into Rillaboom. Okay, totally fine by me. Yeah, the good thing is now I just win the Weather War, right? And we have the Pelipper in the back, and Pelipper should just win us this match. So this is why, though, I was like very trying to counter Amoonguss as much as possible coming into this matchup. Okay. So now they bring the T-Tar back in. It is the last turn of Tailwind from their end. I am burned, so not doing much damage, but we do have to respect Pollen Puff coming out from Amoonguss, actually. But because we have Grass Terra on this, I think I am content to just Electro Shot. Switch in Pelly. Is that the right play, actually? Because what if they Spore the Rilla slot? What would I lose to, right? If they side Pollen Puff, this would win. If they Spore this, well then they're not knocking out Archaludon, right? Yeah. I think the only thing this is, I guess, at risk of is if they crit me with T-Tar. But knowing that it's Assault Vest, I think it's pretty safe to just make this play. I think the main thing is I also probably could have just held out for Pelipper because this turn does risk, like, them, I don't know, going for Rock Slide. It's just low kick, though, yeah. And we survive. Cool. Yeah, I'm trying to think if that was my absolute best play because I think, like, Pelipper would just win this endgame by going for Grass Terra, ignoring Rage Powder, Weather Ball, knockout T-Tar, then Hurricane into Amoonguss. Whereas the play I made here, I could have gotten crit. If I got crit, then Spore would go off into the Pelipper slot if they actually spored. My guess is they Pollen Puff. They may Spore Archaludon as well. So I'm not actually 100% sure I love the play that I made there because I think I also could have just stayed in and went Dragon Pulse instead. But they did go for Pollen Puff, yeah. Cool. Even if they Rock Slided, it would still be fine. It's just like I opened myself to critical hits. I was trying to think, how can I win this game with like them like 100% of the time? No way for them to come back into the game. I could just Dragon Pulse and Hurricane here. I think, yeah, having Tauros to intimidate Talonflame was huge. So then we were able to just eliminate Lucario, which was kind of a wild card here. I just didn't really know what it wanted to do, so I figured better to get it out of the way rather than risk it. And once that was clear, like, yeah, being able to position Tauros in and back out was really nice, and then being able to use the Electro Shot, baiting out the Terra from the Tyranitar was also huge. We've seen so many unique Pokemon in this one. Morpeko, Blaziken, Whimsicott, Ninetales, Mamoswine, Indeedee. Whoa. Okay. The Snow duo, or Ice duo, I should say, is really threatening. Like, they only have one Focus Sash, which is interesting, because, like, so many Pokemon on their team want Sash. I really don't like Dragonite into so much of their team. I really don't like a lot of our Pokemon into a lot of their team. I think Gambit probably comes out here. This could be an angle to Tailwind with Pelipper. But I have to really be careful about Freeze Dry. Gambit. I think we bring Rillaboom so I can have my, like, priority online. I'm not sure I want to lead it, though. I'm thinking Archaludon, Gambit, Rilla. But that would mean not bringing Tauros, which would really not feel great. And I feel like I want Tauros and Pelipper. Fire Terra Rillaboom, though, is really valuable into Ninetales. I don't know if dropping Tauros is right here, but it is threatened by Moonblast from Whimsicott, Psychic from Inity, Morpeko, Freeze Dry from Ninetales before and after Terra. So, let's see. What do they go with? Morpeko, Blaziken. Well, Tauros would have been good here. I just don't really know what Morpeko wants to do, which is the problem. This is not a good spot for Gambit either. I don't love this, honestly. The play I want to make is switch in Pelipper. Terra Electroshot. Maybe I'm respecting Blaziken a little bit too much here, but I think fighting type damage into us is really scary right now. Really now thinking I should have brought Tauros. I think team preview on this one was just so tricky because I was like really wanted to index on beating Ninetales plus Mamoswine, but maybe I was like overly scared of that duo. I really don't like going up against Ninetales when using this team. It's not easy. Okay, Terra from both ends, but we're going to be faster here. What are you Terraing into? Stellar. Okay, well, if it's a fighting type attack, this is totally great for me. Now you've committed your Terra as well, so Sucker Punch pressure. Cool, and they actually end up clicking Fake Out. Yeah, so Ghost Terra also covered for Fake Out there. Okay, nice. Well, this is a solid turn one no matter what then. I just don't know what other attacks this small mice wants to do. I assume they're Sash here, but getting a one-shot would be amazing. Oh, they're actually just bulky enough there to survive. Okay. And it's Aura Sphere. Okay, huge. Nice. And now that the rain is set up, special Blaziken. Not exactly that scary. We're going to transform into Hangry mode. I think I lean towards switching in Rilla here and protecting. And then what? Fake out Morpeko. I mean, I kind of want to double up onto it with Fake out Aura Sphere. So we'll pivot out. I just want to see what it goes for this turn specifically, because I don't know what else it has to offer right now. I know it can go for electric type damage into us. Okay. Protect. Terra Blast. Whoa. Okay. And Aura Wheel. Huh. There's certainly a lot of surprises here. I would like to fake out Blaziken. Aura Sphere here. Is that a Salt Vest? Because like, it took my Electroshot so much better than I thought it would. I low-key think it is. Okay, I'm gonna fake out Aura Sphere. Switch into Indeedee. Oh, that's a good switch. Ninetales. Wait, did I have Infinity in this game? I've been playing for quite a while now, so I'm like mixing it all up. Okay, Blaziken does detect here. Alright, that's not the worst turn then. But I'm still very worried about how I'm dealing with this Ninetales. Let's see how much Aura Sphere does, first of all. It's okay. But not really that much. Yeah, they did have Infinity on this team. Okay, I wasn't crazy. That means my play there wasn't amazing either. I don't know if I love it, but... if they're gonna Terra Blast, like, I mean, I'm thinking about switching this out in a Pelipper. I'm going for Woodhammer into this. But I'm at risk of just eating up Blizzard. I just really want to eliminate Ninetales. The problem is the speed right now from both Mons. Oh, that's huge. Blaziken pivots. Okay. Into more Pico. I'll take it. Switch our Archaludon out. Into Pelipper. Freeze try is fine. We should survive this. Yeah, no freeze, please. Nice. KO. We have weather control now. And you've given up your speed boosts, which is huge. We've only seen Fake Out and Aura Wheel for more Pico. I still have no idea what item that thing has. Sturdy is still online for us, which is big. Blaziken maybe comes back out. What have I seen from Blaziken? Aura Sphere, Terra Blast, Protect, and probably Overheat, which is scary. Mamoswine is their last one. Okay, so makes sense. I've got Covert Cloak on this. You can just Aura Wheel, or I don't know what other attacks this has. I assume it has another electric type attack. I think I want to Grassy Glide here and Tailwind. But I could lose both Pokemon, right? But if I get Tailwind up, it's okay. I don't know, actually. Oh, but they Fake Out into the Covert Cloak. Okay, so that's huge. Getting Tailwind up actually probably means we just win here. Nice. I need to look up more Pico after this, because I just, like, legitimately have no idea. Like, I know about Aura Wheel, and I think what Aura's Wheel's type changes based on the form that it's at, so it's dark right now. Tailwind is set up, though, which is huge. You transform again. Nom 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 nom. Blaziken's in the back. I'm gonna bring out the Archaludon. Okay. Aura Sphere into this. I can Aura Sphere into either. Yeah, I think I'm fine going Aura Sphere here. Maybe reverse it. Aura Sphere here. Weather Ball here. I just don't even know what item this thing is carrying. Okay, they don't protect either slot. Yep, it is Sash. That makes sense. Okay. But now we just knock out the Mamoswine. Cool. You probably knock out our Pelipper. Finally, we got to showcase a Covert Cloak on Peli, though, which is really nice. Just Aura Wheel onto our Archaludon instead. But we're still faster even after the speed boost, so that's good. Terrain disappears. I have Sash Kingambit in the back, which is pretty good as a final one. You can get a speed boost, but with Tailwind still up for a while, I think it's fine. I've got 2 turns left on it, right? Yeah. And just Aura Sphere into you, Weather Ball into you. Probably a double protect here. If they don't double protect, the game's just over. And we know we're still faster. You can confirm that from the grassy terrain recovery the last turn. Yep, Blaziken attacks. Okay, Aura Sphere comes out. Morpeko faints. Bye-bye. And now it's just a 2v1, so any attack on the Blaziken will get the KO. But yeah, I gotta look up more Pico after this game. I was mainly curious, the turn it clicked Fake Out, did it have another attack, like an electric type attack to threaten us, right? Let's actually just Dragon Pulse here, and Weather Ball. Doesn't really make a difference with Sash Kingambit in the back, I guess, but yeah, they just try to double protect. But Blaziken's never winning this scenario since you just don't have enough time to knock out everything. So, it was a cool team. Ghost Terra was... A lot of our techs were huge for us in this game, between Ghost Terra as well as Covert Cloak on Pelipper. Like, the Tailwind just basically, I think, put us into an immediately winning position, which was really huge in this one. So, yeah. But ultimately, I think the Morpeko was really, really scary, honestly. And the Blaziken definitely, you know, had some surprises as well. There is a world in which I just don't Ghost Terra turn 1 and get blasted by the Terra Blast. Or, sorry, by the Aura Sphere. But, yeah, I'm gonna look up Morpeko real quick. There's literally like no data for Morpeko in the VGC databases for this format because its usage rate is basically 0%. So looking at its info here, decently speedy, obviously really frail. Hunger Switch, as we saw, allows you to change forms. The Aura Wheel, which we saw indeed does change based on the form of Morpeko. So Hangry Mode allows for a Dark Aura Wheel. It's kind of funny because we never saw super effective Aura Wheel in that game, even though my opponent had multiple opportunities to go for it. I just don't know what the rest of the moves were. Like, we saw Fake Out, we saw Aura Wheel. It gets access to other interesting moves like Fate Tears, which you could use to drop your opponent's special defense. And there are obviously a lot of electric type attacks that you could use, like Thunderbolt mainly. So this is what I was expecting on a Pelipper, the turn I click Tailwind. My expectation was to lose the Pelipper and get the Mammoth Swine low enough that I can just Sucker Punch it, and then the idea is end the game with Kingambit, right? Plus the Archaludon, since Archaludon's so sturdy, and I would have Kingambit with Sucker Punch pressure across the board. So I'm curious what Morpeko ended up having as its moveset in the end there. But without having, you know, Thunderbolt to KO Pelipper there, we were able to just win. I'm assuming they actually didn't have another electric type attack, because otherwise if you did, I think you should always just go for that onto Pelipper rather than Fake Out. All right. We've got Garchomp, Pelipper, Palafin, Goldengo, Archaludon, and Rillaboom for this one. Dragonite looks great. Archaludon looks great thanks to Aura Sphere. Gambit's interesting. Pelly's actually still not bad, especially because I could lead it and set up Tailwind with it. Everything is solid. I like Tauros as well. I think Tauros Archaludon isn't bad here. It just applies so much pressure immediately. Tauros Archaludon. I think Dragonite's intriguing because it walls Rillaboom and Palafin, and Scale Shot's solid. I don't know. If I were them, I really wouldn't bring Palafin, honestly. Yeah. There's some merit to Gambit here, but I think I like Pelipper more. Gambit with Sash is, like, able to tank an attack from Archaludon as Sucker Punch pressure. But I think Pelipper is good into Goldengo, good into Rilla. Weather Ball's nice. So, yeah. Let's see what they go with. I think in this game, we can exert a ton of pressure from turn 1. I'm going to go with, okay, Pelipper Archaludon. It's fine by me. I think turn 1 here is already interesting because I would expect Sash and Sturdy. One play I could make is Grass Terra this. And just Raging Bull and Electro Shot into Pelipper. I'm generally down for this. Oh, but they switch. Okay, is Garchomp coming out? It's fine since I'm getting a Raging Bull into it, but not exactly the turn I'd like to have seen. Good play. The main thing here is I feel like if you're going for this, I would expect the Archaludon to protect. And if they end up protecting, then this turn is totally okay for us. But if they don't protect, then it's a little bit spookier. Oh, they don't protect. I could have doubled up onto the Archaludon slot instead. Still get a free special attack boost, though, so that's not bad. Okay. Good switch. They're going to Electro Shot in return, presumably onto Tauros. Yeah. Okay. I mean, it could have been worse, but the most useless Mirror Herb ever. Don't think Aqua Jet KOs here, right? What do I want to do here? This turn's interesting. Got Sturdy on you. I don't know what kind of Archaludon set this is. Like, the fact that they were just willing to eat up a close combat is surprising to me. Okay, I'm gonna Aqua Jet Protect here. Hoping to bait out a Protect from Archaludon. Wow, they don't. Yeah, Aqua Jet didn't KO. This Rough Skin's actually really quite annoying for us. And they Dragon Claw into us, yeah. I'm assuming they're max speed Garchomp, Jolly, which is why I went for that. And just D-Pulse into us. Okay, I think now I can go into Dragonite. And since we have Aura Sphere, I think here I can just go Scale Shot into you and Aura Sphere into you. My only fear is that we Speed Tie on Archaludon right now. But I think like Garchomp's got to be feeling threatened by extreme speed. They might even switch it out. And if they like protect or switch it out as we knock out Archaludon, the momentum instantly swings back into our favor. But it was a really good switch by my opponent turn 1. Okay, they do switch. Nice. So now the question is, does Archaludon protect? Because if they do, this is huge. Golden Go comes out. Nice. They don't protect. Aura Sphere comes out. Okay. Oh, but it is stamina. Oh, no. So, and we missed Scale Shot. Uh-oh. So they pulse into Dragonite. That's fine. Leftovers? What? That's wild. Huh. Well, Dragonite ended up being a pretty poor pick. I wonder if this would have knocked out if we had connected, but I don't know. It's like each shot just does so much less damage. My guess is no. This is not a good spot for me, honestly. You've got to be worried about Electro Shot into this. You could switch back out into Garchomp with this. Okay, I want to Protect Electro Shot. They're staying in with Golden Go, which I think is a good sign. Unless it's also protecting. Okay, no Protect. +2 Electro Shot should get the knockout, barring anything wild, right? And if that's the case, I think we should be in good shape. Nice. That's fine. Because I now have extreme speed pressure into Garchomp and Electro Shot into Archaludon. Was not expecting Protect lefties, though. It's so funny though, because Stamina Archaludon was obviously everywhere in the beginning of the format. It's funny, like, and now I'm like conditioned to expect non. Yeah. They bring out Pelipper. Last turn of rain. Can definitely scale shot into this, but it's a question of what I do with my Archaludon. But being the last turn of rain. I lean towards just clicking Scale Shot here and Dragon Pulse here. Archaludon does protect, so I don't know if we knock out Pelipper here. I could have doubled up onto Peli. A double up on a Peli would have likely won the game immediately. 5 hits might do it. Oh, a crit definitely helps, though. That's one of the upsides of the multi-hit moves. Oh, I still need 5, though. I get 5? Uh-oh. Who are they targeting? Oh, it's Tailwind. I do have the speed boost here, but I don't think it helps enough. Because I can't deal with their Archaludon now, right? I could have just doubled up on a Pelipper, but I was worried it was so obvious that they would protect, and I figured even if they protect, Scale Shot would give us an out. And if they didn't protect this, we knock this out, then I have E-Speed pressure in the incoming Garchomp. I haven't revealed E-Speed yet, so now they might be thinking you don't even have it. I could just E-Speed here and Dragon Pulse here. The question is whether or not I protect with Archaludon here. Going for protect. But like I could have won the game here if they targeted Archaludon with their Archaludon. But I'm hoping here they were like, okay, your Archaludon's clearly the bigger threat. Oh, we could have won. Yeah, if I Dragon Pulse here, Garchomp can't win 1v2 against... Well, I could. But I had Wide Guard. But now I just faint to both. I should have just gone for the win there, I guess. I just thought they would surely target Archaludon. And I was like, if you target into Archaludon, then I can protect my Dragonite, switch Pelipper out into Archaludon as you protect your Garchomp, then E-Speed Garchomp, my Archaludon comes back out, Aura Sphere wins the game. That was like the line that I had in my head. And I thought like for them, it makes sense for them to cover for Dragonite though, because Dragonite's obviously such a big threat to this. But we don't have any way of winning now, right? Because you can just Electro Shot this. Yeah. Yeah, nicely done. 2 turns of Tailwind. I guess I could always hope for them to mess up and like use a spread move for some reason. You should always just Dragon Claw. But like the one way here is they could throw / misclick. And if they went for a spread move and then I knocked out Garchomp, then I just protect and then Aura Sphere into Archaludon. But yeah, they just Dragon Claw. Nicely done, nicely done. Starting from turn 1, but yeah, I think the turn Archaludon protected, I was just like, wasn't sure about the Scale Shot calc into Pelipper. And then we got the crit, so I was like, oh, nice. We actually can just get the knockout there. So we got 5 hits. Obviously, we would have just won the game there as well. But like, you would need to connect and get a crit among the 5 hits, and the odds of that aren't incredible. And Peli just gets dunked on here. So yeah. I think in my head, I was just like, not all Pelippers carry Tailwind these days either. So like Tailwind was the move that really saved them. Without Tailwind, like I was like, okay, Pelipper maybe gets a knockout, but we're still okay. But there were multiple opportunities to have won that game. So we definitely had the resources to win, but my opponent just outplayed me throughout a good bit of this battle. So well done by them. But that was definitely a fun matchup. Yeah, I think we had really good tools for it. I think them being the classic Stamina Archaludon variant made things a little bit more challenging. I wonder, I really doubt Scale Shot onto Archaludon. Like the miss I don't think really mattered since they still had, what, like 30-ish, 35%. So I think even if those had connected, we still would have like not gotten the knockout. So I don't think it really made a material difference here in the end. But yeah, that is going to be our first loss and only loss here, and so I'm going to end it here. I didn't expect to be recording for as long as I did, but that was definitely a banger of a video as we played a lot. So yeah, thanks so much as always for joining me. Really fun to feature the rank #1 team here in this one, and thanks to you all as always for joining me. So I'll catch you all soon. All right, peace.